Yo, what's up, guys? It's Ben10clem here, back with another video. And since I came out early with the Ben10clem poll week 8, we are going to be comparing the two. So that's what we'll be doing today. We'll be comparing the AP Top 25 and the Coaches Poll Top 25, because they both came out today at 2 o'clock. So, as I went over yesterday, the previous video, this is my Week 8 Top 25. I create it before the AP poll. I watch all the games, or if I don't watch all the games, I look at the stats of the games I didn't watch and go through that extensively. So, here's my poll. 1, Oregon. 2, Texas. 3, Georgia. 4, Penn State. 5, LSU. 6, Ohio State. 7, Clemson. 8, Miami. 9, Alabama. 10, Iowa State. 11, Notre Dame. 12, Kansas State. Tennessee. 13, 14, Oklahoma, or 14, Tennessee, or Texas A&M. 15, BYU. 16, Illinois. 17, Ole Miss. 18, Boise State. 19, Army. 20, Arizona State. 21, Utah. 22, Missouri. 23, Nebraska. 24, Navy. 25, Pitt. So, that's what I have the rankings as. And now we're going to compare it to the rankings we have here. So, Texas is number 1, which to me, that's kind of still surprising. I think Oregon should be 1 after beating Ohio State. And then 2, I'm keeping Texas at 2. I still think Texas should be 2. I mean, those could go hand in hand, though. So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Penn State 3, I don't agree with. Ohio State at 4. I could see that, to be honest, because they're still, I'd say, a top 5 to top 16. But I put Georgia at 3. Penn State at 4 is mine. So, Penn State is 3 in both the AP and Coaches Poll. So, that's a little wild to me, but, I mean, that's fine. They have Georgia at 4. I have Georgia at 3. I think Georgia would beat Penn State if they played. LSU at 5 for me, which is, they both have them at 8. I had them at 8 last week. I have them jumping up 3 after their win against Ole Miss. So that's why I have them at 5. Ohio State at 6. I see Ohio State at 5 in the Coaches Poll, which I can agree with that. Clemson at 7. I do think Clemson's better than Miami. You can't tell me otherwise. Miami, their past two games, they should have lost. The refs bailed them out. Alabama not dropping makes 0 sense to me. I think they should drop at least 1. I think they should drop 2, like I did. So they stay the same. LSU moves up 5, and they only 5 in the top 25 AP poll in there, and then they move up 2 in the Coaches Poll. Clemson's 9 in the Coaches Poll and stays the same in the AP. Tennessee at 11, dropping 3 spots. I agree with that. I'm fine with that. I think that's fine. Notre Dame dropping 1 spot as well. I guess, yeah, that makes sense because Iowa State moved up really high. They moved up really high. I mean, they did beat Utah, so I guess it makes sense. I have Iowa at 10, so BYU at 13. I can understand it because they're 6-0, but I'm still waiting to see more out of them. Texas A&M at 14. That's the same on mine. Boise State is 15, and then Boise State is 19, and I have them at 18. And I also have Indiana at 16, which is I also predicted right. Kansas State is at 17. I think they are entirely way too low. I think they are a top 15 team. The disrespect on Kansas State is wild. Ole Miss dropping to 18, dropping 9 spots. And then they dropped to 15 in the Coaches Bowl. I have them at 17. I dropped them 11 spots. So I guess I wasn't as disrespectful as I thought I was to Ole Miss. They agree with me as a 2-loss team should not be in the top 15. I fully agree with that. Except they have Ole Miss in the Coaches Poll at 15, which I don't agree with. I agree they should be below 15, and I like that. Missouri at 19, I'm fine with that. I have them at 22. I wouldn't put them anywhere, though, above 15. They don't deserve it. Pitt, 20. I just recently put them in the top. This week, I just put them in the top 25. They are 6-0, so I gave it to them. SMU, I was debating putting in the top 25, but I didn't. They dropped Utah out completely, and they dropped Oklahoma. I understand Oklahoma. I don't understand Utah. I think Utah should have stayed in. I really do. I think they deserved to stay in, but they didn't. Navy finally making the top 25. Army and Navy both in the top 25. That's sick. Love to see that. Michigan they kept in. I also debated keeping Michigan in and putting them at 25 as a second loss team. But I didn't want to put 3 2-loss teams in the top 25. I mean, I could see what they say, Michigan's better than Utah, but I wouldn't argue that. I think Utah's better than Michigan. Michigan's opponent, who they lost to, was Washington. Then they got blown out by Iowa. Illinois being up there, I don't think deserves to be up there. They had a really close game and won barely. I don't think they deserve to be in the top 25. Nebraska being in the top 25 in the coaches poll, I agree with. I can agree with SMU. Illinois is entirely too high. And all that. Everything else, I kind of agree with. Vanderbilt's receiving some votes, which makes sense. Arizona State not being in at all is kind of crazy to me. I think they need to be in. I like the Vanderbilt votes. I could see that. That's one thing I definitely can see. Who else could I see getting votes? Washington State, I thought about that as well, but they're not that strong of a team. But that's the comparisons and what I agree with and I don't agree with. I mean, the things I predicted correctly is did I predict much right? I don't think I did this time. I mean, Iowa State at 9. I mean, that's pretty close. BYU, I did. Okay, so I predicted Texas A&M correct, Indiana correct. I almost predicted Ole Miss correct. The rest I didn't predict right, but it's okay. I'm fine with that. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to leave it at that. That's my opinions. And if we look at the football power index, I've never looked at this. So this is like the power index. which is interesting to look at. I'm going to bring it on to the main screen for y'all to look. We're going to move this and then increase the size of this. Okay, let me increase the size here. Ooh. There we go. Alrighty. I think that's good. So Texas being 1, Ohio State still 2, even with a loss. 3 Alabama, 4 Georgia. Alabama's way too high. So is Old Miss. Is this actually what they think? The FBI? That's insane. That's still wild to me. Notre Dame, extremely high. Tennessee is way too high. Oregon's a little too low. Clemson being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Clemson being 11 and Miami being 10. I guess that makes sense. They still expect us to lose 2 games. Go 10-2. I don't see us going 10-2. I just don't. It just doesn't make sense. Our chance to make the playoff is 44.6%, with Miami's being 73.2%. I mean, the person that's projected to win the Natty is Texas. USC still being that high is crazy, and this is the power index. Michigan's really low. BYU's low. Somehow South Carolina is relatively high. If we look at the ACC power, it's Miami, Clemson, Louisville. The difference between Louisville and Clemson is like a huge drop off. But everything else, Wake Forest, they have as the weakest. Makes sense. Let's look at the American. How is Tulane? How? I don't get that. I really don't get that. Army, I understand being there. Navy. Big 12. This is interesting to look at. Iowa State and Kansas State are the ones expected to come out. 2 to win their conference, though, is BYU or Kansas State. It's like Illinois, BYU, or Kansas State. That's what it is right now. And they still have, Iowa State, Kansas State, and BYU. The only teams really that have a chance. Okay, let's look at the Big Ten. Yeah, Ohio State and Oregon will 100% play each other again. Without a doubt. I think that makes a lot of sense. It just adds up. Purdue's really weak. UCLA's weak. Let's look at the Conference USA. Playoff chances for any of these teams are like non-existent. Independence. Huskies aren't doing bad for what they are. Playoff make chance for Fighting Irish is 57. MAC. Yeah, none of these teams are going to even make it, so we don't even have to bother with the MAC. Mountain West, Boise State, making the playoffs. And winning their conference. I could see them winning their conference. UNLV still is going to give them trouble, but other than that, yeah. Then we look at the Pac-12, which is just Pac-2. Surprising they have a chance to even make that. And then we go to SEC. Texas expected to win their conference by a long shot, 61% to Alabama's 14, Georgia's 4. That's wild. Their chance to actually, that's insane to me. And then we look at the Sun Belt. James Madison and Texas Bobcats are the two that are just expected to play each other. So yeah, I mean, that's crazy to look at, but that's everything. Efficiencies. Resume. Look at the efficiency. Clemson has the third best efficiency. That's wild. And they're third in offense efficiency, ninth in defense efficiency, 62 in special teams. Oh, wait, no, whoops. Three overall, 6 in offense efficiency, 11 in defense. That's wild. Like, if you look at that right there, that's some crazy numbers. Number 1 in offense is Army. What? They have 47 in defense. That's wild. I mean, the best rounded team, if you look at it, is the 3 best rounded teams is Texas, Ohio State, and Clemson. Because that's really what it comes down to, is that. Anyways, we're going to end it off there. I do hope you all enjoyed. We're going to finish it out. And that's what we think. And we compared all the rankings and how everything goes. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.